This old man just gave me the most disapproving look I've gotten in a while. It just, he didn't look like he was angry. He just looked like he was disappointed in me. You know, he didn't shake his head, but it was like his eye shook his head. You know, he's like, come on, what's wrong with these? What's wrong with these young 50-year-olds? I usually do an over-the-top check before I leave the house. I'll ask my wife, I'm like, is this too much? You know, what I'm doing with my appearance, and she'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. And she does usually tell me if it's too much. You know, because you can't tell when you're in the bathroom. You know, the lighting in there is all fucked. Especially like when it comes to makeup and shit. The lighting's all fucked up. So like, I always gotta go and stand, you know, get in her face and say, look, is it okay? She's like, yeah, you don't look too crazy. But then when I'm out here, I kind of feel when I've maybe gone a little too far in some areas. It's so weird. I'm the invisible agent. People will, I don't know. I know they're all in a script. I know they're running little scripts and they're not like, don't have the same awareness I do, but it's like I'm invisible until they're right on top of me. And then they get all scared that I'm like right on top of them. It's like, well, Jiggy, you made this happen. You know, you put us in this situation. It's weird. You'd think like it's quite a dichotomy here. Like on the one hand, you know, my appearance is triggering to people, and on the other hand, they also simultaneously don't see me. It's fucking weird. I don't rage about it though anymore. Like I used to freak out. I used to come home so angry. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Well, I kind of know now what's wrong with these people. They're not people. So yeah, Saturday night here. A little bit earlier than I normally come out. It's just getting dark. Not much going on. Just the regular stuff. I was going through my old videos and yeah, I can't have someone walking behind me. Jesus Christ. It's like, see all this space? Homeboy's gotta be like, the front of his shoes were touching the back of my shoes. I got a feeling it's gonna be one of those nights. But yeah, it's gonna be older stuff, and there's a lot of stuff in there that, like, you know, the basics kind of things I went over. Like there's no such thing as death. You know, politics don't exist. Just all the regular bullshit. I don't usually wind back to a lot of that, because in my mind it's like, oh, I already did it. I don't have to do that again. Like the other day I was talking about how demonic stuff, satanic stuff can come through artists' music and art, even if they don't intend it to. And how it had happened to me. And when I went to find the thumbnail for the video, I noticed it had 9 views on it. And I started thinking, well, I could probably do a lot of this shit over again. You know? Now that the audience has doubled from 9 to 18, it might be time to hit some of these concepts again. The big one is death not being real. Death doesn't exist. It's a stressor that's put in place here so that you get anxiety ridden about it. You start to think about how much time you have, what you have to do before your time is up. The deal is, right, you're the energy that's powering these human suits, these bodies. You're not the body. You have connection to it through your central nervous system that works in tandem with your electromagnetic energy to then work on your nervous system and to tell your brain, to send your brain a message when you do something physical that needs to have a, needs to be confirmed. Like if you hit your, if I was to whack my arm on the wall here, electromagnetic pulse will go from my arm to give my brain the information that I just hit my arm, and that it should make it hurt, you know? So it's not instantaneous. It's not in real time, because we're not in real time. But the energy that's blowing around in there, that's you. Not the body, not any of the shit. You are that energy. Wow, it's fucking packed, huh? So as energy, you can't be destroyed. Energy can't be dissolved or taken apart or crushed or killed or anything. It can be moved, and that's what happens, really. If you've watched any near-death experience stuff where people basically describe the same thing over and over when they're in a situation where, you know, something's happened to them, or they're in a hospital. A lot of times they find themselves in the room looking at themselves. That's just you moving outside of the human suit. Now, when you leave it, and you leave it every time you sleep, you maintain all the same stuff that makes you, your personality, the way you think about things. Most of your memories, well, really all your memories, your brain does file some memories that they keep on hand in a similar way. Computer will have a cache of, it holds a cache so that if you return to a website, it doesn't have to reload the same thing. Your brain can keep memories in that way. But the real deep memory, your experiences are with you. So basically, when you're out of this body, you're the same person. Now, when you're here, you don't remember what you were before, or what the point of this all is, because if you did, then it wouldn't be any kind of test. And so you have to have no memory of why you're here or how you're here. Otherwise, it wouldn't matter, because originally, in my opinion, this place was built to be a sort of school, a sort of testing area for the divine, the progeny of God, which is what we are, the divine being, the creator of all. We are his kid, his offspring, in the way. And we're all one thing. We're all split into these different people, different points of attention, expressing themselves as individuals, as people, but we're all really one thing. And the idea here was to try to teach lessons, you know. Homeboy's yelling at people to get up in front of him, but really he's not supposed to have that bike on the fucking side. Well, whatever, okay. Don't let people aggravate you. They're all retarded. So we're all like here to kind of learn something, or to kind of be trained in a way. Or not in a way, but we are. We're meant to learn. It's a learning area. Matt from Quantum of Conscious channel calls it a Spartan training ground. I don't think it's quite that hardcore. Sometimes it feels like it is, but it wasn't meant to be as hardcore as it is. The reason it has become that way is because in my experience, I'm just trying to get people shake people from being around me. People love being around me. I don't know what it is. I must smell good. A lot of times I'll stop, so let them go. And they're like, no, we won't stop with you. It's like, all right, well, now I'm going to go. That's the problem with like, I like doing my videos out here walking. But the thing is, it's hard to concentrate because I have the fucking... I could make a lot of this stuff make more sense if I stood in one place. But, you know, but then it's boring. What are you going to do? Just look at me looking at the camera? Fuck that. This is more interesting to look at. So anyway, at some point it became hijacked. God placed people here when he built this place. I'm just using words like God and he and stuff like that just for conversation's sake. And it was staffed with people that were here to help run this place, so like running a school, the school faculty, right? So one of the guys, the music teacher, piano teacher, said, hey, you know, you figured out by looking at it the way the divine energy works in this realm, how it can be used to create the things that are in the realm, because that's what we do. We're powering everything here. We're the battery that goes into the school to make it run. And he's kind of deduced, if we were to keep this kid here, instead of letting it graduate onto wherever the fucking godhood is, or whatever you go from here, we could hold this God's kid here and just suck off his divine energy, and we could create this place to be a place we want it to be, that will let us live as kings and queens and rulers in this material realm. Whereas in heaven, or whatever you want to call the home realm, fifth dimension, some say the sixth, I don't know, but up there they're just servants, you know, and here they were servants. But if they knock the table over and overthrow the place, they can become rulers here. You know, everything we can dream of will be ours in the material. And so he got a third of the faculty to go with him into this plan, and that's what they did, turning the school into a farm to suck up our energy, to give them an endless power supply that then they can transform into a lifestyle, or a place they want to live with the things they want to do, and with complete control, enjoying all the material pleasures that they can, you know. That's the short version of what I think, in my opinion, is going on here. Others have a similar idea, and are we right? I don't know, but it helps to fit a lot of pieces together. I'm one of those kind of guys that, like, no, I'm a person that, like, I'm not in love with any concept I have. If some new information comes along that helps me reevaluate what I thought before was to be best case scenario, I'll definitely try to recalibrate or look at it again. Knowledge is always talked about being an upward trajectory. I do as well. I use the elevator terminology, but a lot of people say it's like a staircase, but it's more like a spiral staircase. You know, you learn something going up, but the best way to do it is go around it, because sometimes the concept, you have to look at it from a lot of different angles before you can move up from it. Sometimes you got to go back. Sometimes you'll have to go back. You'll get a piece of information that is just too pertinent to ignore. And I've had that happen before. It doesn't happen a lot. It hasn't happened a lot, and it hasn't happened to the extent where I had to change something big. You know, I haven't had to make big changes. But and I guess it doesn't happen where I get new information that I have to reevaluate topics or subjects or ideas too often at all anymore. That's too bad, because I'm always looking for that. I mean, am I right every time? I don't think I am, but so far I haven't really had much to say otherwise. You know, I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking for someone to step in and be like, no, you're not thinking about this. And I look for that, but it's you know, a lot of people aren't having these conversations. Or if they are, it's in private, you know. Which is probably the best way to do it. You know, unless you just really don't care and don't have a lot to lose, and then you can, you know, I mean it in the way like you're not part of the community, where you're not on the Teachers Association, or you're not a community, you're not a member of your church organization, where you're going to get some heat that's going to hurt you socially. I don't have any of that. So to me, it's just like, yeah, whatever. So I mean, there's a couple things you got to understand and have an interest in this stuff, and then you have to have a social standing where you can you're not worried about ridicule. So yeah, I mean, but I think over time there'll be more people that I can bounce these ideas off of and exchange information with. But at the same time, the veil is disintegrating at such a rate that I just don't think it'll matter after a while. You won't have to figure out too much more. Because truth, right, it can only be hidden for so long. Eventually, it's just going to become evident. There will still be people that deny it, but at that point, that's not anyone's problem but theirs. I would say that's just not your problem anyway. File it under not my problem. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.